I am so happy. Avowed 2 is officially happening. Now, granted, I already knew that Avowed 2 is 100% happening because the CEO of Microsoft himself called me to tell me this. Well, actually, he called me to say that he's at the gate with my food delivery. If you know, you know. But I asked him about Avowed 2, and he said, yes, Queen, it's happening. And it is happening. And I could not be happier. You know what this means, boys? This means generational wealth. That's right. I'm gonna be making money. I'm gonna get that Lambo because Avowed 2 is gonna be that absolutely hilarious. And yes, the meme is real, boys. People are still trying to say that games that have objectively literally failed on every metric possible are somehow successful. We're going to be looking into this a little bit, okay? This is the tweet. See, it doesn't matter what grifters say about Avowed. Big, true, and real, Queen. 6 million players spoke for itself. That's why we are getting Avowed 2. By the way, where are they getting this 6 million players number? No idea. Absolutely no clue. And also, notice 6 million players, not payers, but players. So, you know, that's kind of that. And again, consult the charts. This is the Steam chart. Again, the biggest place where people play games. You know? And, well, I don't know, but 19k peak, I don't think that's sold. I don't think that has 6 million players. Not even sales, okay? I really doubt that Xbox is somehow managing 5 million on their own. Okay, but it is what it is, okay? Maybe I just don't know nothing. Maybe we're all... No, this is lies. Okay, first of all, there's no confirmation of even 6 million players at this point, not even alone buyers. Spoke for itself. That's why we are getting Avowed 2. Now, we're getting Avowed 2 most likely because Xbox has already agreed to put in all of the money. The reason Obsidian is made 2 games in 1 year, aka Avowed and Outer Worlds 2, is because Obsidian has had a cash influx from Microsoft or whichever company gave them money, but they did. By all means, keep crying. I sure will. It's hilarious to see you melt down over what you said would never happen because it flopped. First of all, again, no one's convincing anyone that this shit did not flop. Just gonna say that outright. Second of all, who said I'm not happy? I'm gonna make so many videos on this. I'm gonna milk it so... You have any idea how hard I milked the first Avowed? My god, we were making a video a day about Avowed after it released just to make fun of its dwindling, useless, completely in the garbage dumpster numbers right here. My god, every day was amazing. I was in cloud 9, baby, okay? This was beautiful. First, we made fun of the pre-orders, then we made fun of the launch numbers because they were pathetic, and then we looked at the Saturday, Sunday of the multi-hundred million dollar game that didn't even break 20k peak. It was a ride, and I enjoyed all of it, okay? So, from Fandom Wire, Obsidian forgot to read the room before betting big on Avowed 2, and it will backfire spectacularly. I hope they get my wife. I forgot her name, but that's okay. I hope they get my wife, Carrie something, to still direct Avowed 2, because, I mean, it was great. It was great. I loved Avowed, never played it, but I'm sure it was awesome. I'm sure it was awesome, and roughly the 5 people who also played it think the same. According to leaks, Obsidian's next big plans live at Avowed 2, despite the title receiving mixed reception across the gaming community. Now, if you think that there was mixed reception, I guess it's technically true, considering if you look at this, it's a 75% upvote, which is not the worst that there ever was, but you need to understand. When the trailer for this thing dropped, millions of people were excited. And then as we got more news, more gameplay, more screen... Was that a bat? More everything? We understood, wait a minute, this is a woke bait and switch. This is a garbage. This gameplay is nothing. Not even close to what we originally received in the opening trailer. It's not even comparable, in fact. It's super garbanzo Alonzo. Because it was. Because it literally was and everyone knows it. And, well, most people chose to not buy it because we're at the point where consumers are not stupid. We are smart. We look at the trailer and we are like, huh, this has all the hallmarks, all the makings of a woke garbage. I'm just not gonna give this company the money. Also, not despite the fact, by the way, that this game released with a AAA price of $80 or something like it. Oh, you're lying! It's actually $79.99. Why must you be stupid? It's $80. Like that 1 cent. Yeah, I'm saying $80. You can live in La La Land. I literally could not care even to engage with you on this subject. In any case, the fact that it was $80 alone, even if we ignored the wokeness and everything, $80 for a barely AA studio game is beyond wild. No one's paying that. I mean, this existed in... Wait, when did this exist? I think there was some indie game that we could compare the Avowed to. I mean, nowadays we can just say this was 4 Silk Songs or 8 Megabonks. Or, how much is the Escape from Dunkey? Don't even know, didn't play it still. So, like, this is a disaster. $80 disaster. And then the Elder Worlds 2 comes and it's also a complete shit show. Obsidian is literally amazing at making games that just get less and less players constantly. And by the way, the Elder Worlds 2 was supposed to be the big one, okay? That was supposed to be the big one. Avowed was just some kind of new thing that they're making, but this was supposed to be the new Vegas killer. But instead, well, I mean, everyone knows what we got. Whispers are going around about what Obsidian is about to grab next, other than the supposed DLC for the Outer Worlds 2. I think it's getting a DLC. I mean, again, it shouldn't, honestly. It shouldn't. But, that's probably getting a DLC. According to a notable industry insider and ex-Obsidian developer, Chris Avalon, on X-Cancel, the studio is highly considering Avowed 2 instead of another sequel for the Outer Worlds franchise. Yes. By the way, this does make sense, and I will explain why. This is financial stuff, so Daddy's got you covered, Bill. Don't worry about it. So let me explain why the Outer World, why Avowed is getting a sequel, while Outer Worlds 2 is not. Because, I mean, if you just go into Obsidian and you find the Outer Worlds 1 somewhere here, the Outer Worlds, you will see that this game peaked at 20k players 5 years ago. And by the way, it only was put on Steam after something like a year, while being exclusive to Xbox or something like that. So the fact that the first game got 20k concurrent players on Steam, while their next one that has a day one release on Steam got 2k less, is... I mean, this is not a disaster. The Outer Worlds 2 has sold... probably like maybe up to 3 times worse than they expected it, based on just the numbers from the Outer Worlds 1. And this is how financists and business analyst people make these predictions from previous things. And just looking at this graph, the fact that this is a disaster. So the Outer Worlds 2, 3, I mean that is at best hanging in the air because no one believes in it. But Avowed was a new thing, so they can kind of risk it, I guess. They can kind of risk it. Plus, I think Avowed was the one that got the Microsoft money. You need to understand, because these things are on Game Pass. being on Game Pass, as we know from Battlefield or Call of Duty, I think, reported the shit sales and how much Game Pass actually damaged it. Xbox, Microsoft is paying companies a lot of money to be day one on Game Pass. That's how these things happen. Xbox gives Obsidian money so their game is on Game Pass day one, which means, well, they obviously didn't expect this game to be a disaster. You don't make things expecting them to be disasters. So Xbox probably already has made the Outer Worlds 2 and Avowed financially actually lucrative because of the money that they have injected into Obsidian because of the Game Pass deal. So at this moment, Obsidian has literally nothing else to do but make the next game, and it either it's a new IP or at this point it's just Avowed or the Outer Worlds 2. And Avowed does seem like way much of a smarter choice at this point than the Outer Worlds 2. Even though the Outer Worlds 2 is, as I already said, I think like 10 times better than the Avowed as a game, which is hilarious and convoluted, I know, but that's just life. Most things are hilarious and convoluted. Considering Avowed 2 instead of another sequel to the Outer Worlds franchise, while IPs like Pillars of Eternity exist, why consider a renewal for an IP that didn't sit well with the community? Maybe the game managed to maybe the game managed to 5.9 million players. I think they are missing to get 5.1 million players thanks to Game Pass Again, I have not seen any proof that this is real. Remember, when we're talking about these Game Pass things, I literally have bookmarked the Game Pass thing where it actually shows most played games, and The Outer Worlds wasn't there. Avowed wasn't. I know Avowed, I think maybe made it in the top 50, but it was not. I think I remember something making it to like rank 40, which is maybe 500 active players at best, honestly. But for example, the Outer Worlds 2, I think was maybe on page fucking 3 of the most played games on Xbox by their own statistics. So I am not believing anything when they say 6 million players in general, okay? Maybe this is people who pressed the install button and then never did anything, which actually could be real because we have this. This is the achievement in Avowed for finishing the tutorial. 60% of players did not finish the tutorial. This is real bad. Starfield has like 80 players. Actually, I checked before the video. I wanted to talk about this. I should not talk about Starfield because at one point Starfield also had 60%, but now Starfield's achievements show that 80% of people have 80% of people have played the game at least for roughly 5 hours. Which is obviously not fucking true. Because previously, when the game launched, I remember looking at the achievements for Starfield because I have the game bought, and 60% of people did literally not play the game for more than 10 minutes because of the achievement that you can see. And just for comparison's sake, by the way, let me show you a good game, okay? It's called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, as always. And look at this. This is the first achievement anyone should be getting. This is called finishing the tutorial. 75% of people have finished the tutorial. Versus Avowed's not even 60. And keep in mind, Avowed's tutorial is not an hour. But Tainted Grail's tutorial, which it's not really the tutorial, but to get this achievement, if you're rushing and you're not exploring things, this takes probably like 30-ish minutes to do. If you're rushing things. But for the average player, I think this is like 1.5 hours into the game. Then reaching level 5, probably 3 hours, 4 hours into the game. So not a huge drop. And then, which is the crazy part, is reach level 20 and the Hollow Blade where you get Excalibur. Okay? This is finishing Act 1. Getting Excalibur is literally finishing Act 1, which can take, easily like 20 hours, depending on how you play. Well, it also can take like 7 hours in total if you're rushing things. But, depending on 40%, anyway, 40% of people plus finish the first act, which is insane. And, then 45% got level 20. Which again, these kind of go hand in hand a little bit, but it depends on how you play, which is insane. These are good statistics. These are actually statistics that you see on games that people want and like to play. So there you kind of go, yeah. And there's one more achievement I wanted to talk about. It's the fact that this person is bringing up the statistics. If we go off 6 million, 3.5 million finish the tutorial, which is extremely low, and 620k finish the story. And I just want to mention this because that's 10%. 10% of players finish the story. This is actually not bad. 10% of players finishing the story is not actually a bad statistic because it depends on how long the game is. Even good games with that are 20 hours long sometimes have only 30% of people finishing the main story quest. A lot of people leave exactly before finishing the game and things like that. So 10% people only finish the game is not actually the worst statistic you could talk about when it comes to Avowed. The fact that only fucking less than 60% of people manage to play this game for more than 15 minutes, now that's a statistic you want to talk about. In any case, Avowed 2, baby. My soul, my body is ready, my soul is ready, my wallet is waiting. Please, Microsoft. Okay, please. I'm begging you. I need this. I need generational wealth, boys. Think about it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.